Hey, welcome to Retirement Made Easy. Today we're going to be talking all about retirement withdrawal strategies. And what does that mean? Well, that means which accounts do we spend through first in retirement? And you're going to want to stay till the end because we're going through a case study of a 65-year-old couple that retires and they choose between the worst withdrawal strategy and the best withdrawal strategy. And the difference is $400,000 in lifetime tax savings and an additional $900,000 that they end up leaving to their kids. And that's the difference between the worst strategy and the best withdrawal strategy. When it comes to withdrawal strategies, it's really when someone's in the decumulation phase of their life. And they start off in the accumulation phase, whether they're saving in a 401k, Roth IRA, whatever retirement savings accounts that they choose. In the accumulation phase, it's kind of setting your goals, determining how much you're going to save every year, and then putting investments in place within those accounts that align with your goals, your risk tolerance. And the accumulation phase is in my eyes, it's a lot simpler. But when you get to the decumulation phase of life, a lot more care and skill needs to go into this and needs to be taken into account. It's just like, the people that climb Mount Everest. There's reports that over 400 people have died climbing Mount Everest. And they don't die on the way up. The deaths always occur on the way down the mountain. And I think the same can be true with retirement planning and why the decumulation phase is so important to get right. So let's get into this case study of this 65-year-old couple, Jack and Jill. Okay, so this is our couple, our 65-year-old couple, Jack and Jill. Jack, born in 1960, his Social Security amount is $3,500 per month at full retirement age, which is his primary insurance amount. We're assuming a life expectancy of 90 for Jack. Jill, she was born in the same year. She's 65 as well. Her life expectancy, we're assuming age 92. You can see her Social Security is a little bit less than Jack's. Primary insurance amount is $2,800 per month. Now, this couple, they're from Illinois. The neat thing about Illinois is Illinois does not tax Social Security benefits, and they do not tax 401k withdrawals or IRA withdrawals. So from a state income tax perspective in retirement, they're in a decent state. Let's next go to, so we know they're 65. We know they're from the great state of Illinois. We know their Social Security benefits at full retirement age. Now let's go to how much they have saved for retirement and which different accounts that they could choose to withdraw from now that they're retired. So these are their different accounts. They've got $2 million saved for retirement. They've been really, really good savers. You'll notice the first account of 4 different accounts that they have is a joint brokerage account. This is valued at $300,000. Now that represents 15% of their entire $2 million portfolio. The next 2 accounts are their biggest accounts. They are Jack's 401k, valued at $1 million, and Jill's 401k, also valued at $500,000. So combined, they've got $1.5 million in pre-tax 401ks. And then the last account of the 4 is Jill's Roth IRA. It is valued at $200,000. It represents 10% of the entire $2 million portfolio, and their 401ks combine to $1.5 million, which is 75% of their entire $2 million portfolio. And there's a reason I'm bringing up those percentages, but we'll come back to that in a moment. Now, cash flows. They went to our website, RetireStrongFA.com, clicked on resources, and we have a budgeting tool, a retirement budgeting tool to determine, how much money they're going to be spending in retirement, where those dollars are going to be going to. So they came up with different expenses. And so they said, okay, $8,000 a month was their essential living expenses, their fixed expenses. And that would be every month for the rest of their life, $8,000 a month. Next, they wanted travel and entertainment, an allowance for travel and entertainment of $1,500 per month. They were a very, very active couple, liked to play pickleball, liked to travel, liked to do a lot of things. They had e-bikes, very, very active couple. They wanted those expenses, $1,500 a month is $18,000 a year. They wanted to account for those expenses for the first 20 years of retirement. And next we have their medical and health care. They were assuming about $450 a month each for those expenses, and that's $900 total per month, and that would be for their entire retirement. And then lastly, they just replaced a vehicle, but they said about every 5 years they will replace a vehicle and upgrade, and they'll buy a new used vehicle. And so in 5 years, they will be due for their next vehicle, which is in 2030, and they want to account for about $45,000 a year. They didn't buy new. They never bought a new vehicle in their lives, they actually said. And they said about $45,000 plus anything they get for a trade-in. That would be about adequate. Now, all of these are adjusted for inflation, 3% inflation, other than healthcare, which historically goes up more than the average inflation out there. Healthcare expenses go up 4 to 5%, so we went with 4% for their healthcare expenses. So next, we wanted to kind of take everything into account that we've talked about in their situation: Social Security, their assets, expenses. The other thing is income sources up here. They do not plan on working part-time in retirement. So there's no additional part-time income or earned income coming in. They don't have, neither Jack nor Jill has a pension of any kind. So that's blank. So just with the portfolio that they have, that they've done really, really well accumulating, and these expenses, again, their house is paid for, they're debt-free. They said they would be very, very comfortable living on these expenses. Well, what withdrawal strategies can we come up with to decide which route to take? Each withdrawal strategy is a road that you can go down. And really, it's kind of choosing, okay, which path do we want to take? So we were able to show them 3 different withdrawal strategies and show them, okay, this is what it would look like as far as determining which account to start taking withdrawals from first. So let's go over these 3 strategies in detail so you can learn, hey, what these are, what they look like. So the first one is conventional wisdom. So conventional wisdom is simply saying, okay, the strategy is to start spending through your brokerage account first. And then once the brokerage account has been completely depleted, then you move on to your pre-tax account, which in their case would be the $1.5 million that they had in pre-tax 401k dollars. And then once that is completely depleted or spent through, then you move on to your Roth IRA. You remember Jill had a $200,000 Roth IRA. So that would be conventional wisdom. And on top of that, with this strategy, with this withdrawal strategy, we assume they both claim their Social Security benefits at full retirement age, which is age 67. So you can see it takes them 27 years until Jill is 92. And so they actually end up with an ending balance of $739,000. And you can see the cumulative taxes throughout their retirement lifetime are $1,161,332. So that's, as you can kind of see, and we'll get into in a minute, that's conventional wisdom. That's kind of the old school way of thinking. For sometimes conventional wisdom might be your best strategy. In this case, it's not the best strategy, it doesn't seem like, for Jack and Jill. So that's strategy number 3. Strategy number 2 is what we call the proportional strategy. And it also has them claiming Social Security at full retirement age, which is 67. What is the proportional strategy? Well, it looks at the percent of your entire portfolio that you have. So for example, if you have 10%, you remember Jill's Roth IRA represented 10% of the entire portfolio. So it would say, with this strategy, would say, okay, every month you take, for your spending needs, take 10% from Jill's Roth IRA. And then you remember their brokerage account represented 15% of their entire portfolio. So 15% of their withdrawal would come from the brokerage account. And then you remember that their pre-tax 401ks represented 75% of their total portfolio. So 75% of their withdrawal would come from their pre-tax 401ks. And you would just continue that for their lifetime. You would see you have a projected ending balance of almost $1.2 million. You can see the cumulative taxes over their retirement lifetime were $979,429 with this strategy, which is less than the conventional wisdom. So that's the proportional strategy. It's taking, whatever percentage the Roth bucket or Roth account represents of your total portfolio, you would take from that. If it was zero, if you didn't have a Roth, well, obviously zero, you would take nothing from that because there is no balance. But in their case, it was 10%. So every year, they would take 10% from the Roth, so on and so forth. Now, the first strategy number one that we came up with, it is a little more complicated, but essentially what it does is it moves Social Security out until 70. So it has both Jack and Jill collecting their Social Security benefit at 70. And it looks at retirement essentially in two phases. Phase one is before Social Security starts, in those 5 years that they're not getting a Social Security check. It says they're going to do conventional wisdom with Roth conversions up to the 22%. So all that means is do Roth conversions up until the 22% and then spend their brokerage account first, then pre-tax 401ks, and then end with Roth. And then there's a phase two to this. So starting in 2030, they would, now their Social Security benefits have started because now they're 70. And you'll see they would take out of their 401k first up until the 10% bracket. And then for everything over and above that, they would take out of their Roth IRAs. So it breaks retirement up into two phases. So it is slightly more complicated, but you can see the projected ending balance is $1,652,539, but the cumulative taxes are only $750,000 as compared to strategy number two, which is the proportional, $979,000, and conventional wisdom, $1.1 million. So the difference in tax savings of strategy one versus strategy three is over $400,000. In addition to that, the ending balance is over $900,000, a projected ending balance that they could leave to their kids or their loved ones. By picking the right strategy, it not only saves you in cumulative tax dollars, but the amount of money that's left over for kids, loved ones, causes we care about is a lot greater. Now over here, you'll see the first 5 years of retirement, they are doing Roth conversions. And in fact, the total Roth conversions that they do are $308,657. Withdrawal strategies number 2 and 3, notice they do not include any Roth conversions. Now, one important thing to note here is this does not mean that Roth conversions are right for everybody. It just happens to be right for Jack and Jill in this analysis. And we're going through 3 different withdrawal strategies here. There are literally hundreds of different variations of withdrawal strategies that we could come up with. We have to try to pin down or pinpoint the optimal strategies that kind of give Jack and Jill the highest probability of success. So I hope this video has been helpful and enlightening to show you different withdrawal strategies enable us to save money in taxes and increase the odds of success in retirement. And hopefully it kind of sheds some light on how important that decumulation stage of retirement is and how it's so important to get it right. I hope you've enjoyed Retirement Made Easy. I'll see you next time. And remember, always dream big. Hello, I'm Greg Gonzalez, founder of RetireStrong Financial Advisors. If you want to see more videos like this, please like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more about how we help people plan for a successful retirement, visit our website, RetireStrongFA.com.